It's obvious that the U.S. government is in debt. You don't need me to stand here and preach about that issue. Instead, I would like to touch upon a very vital sector of our government that's essential to the foundation of America, the United States Armed Forces. With the U.S. in such a humongous debt that even has been compared to the Great Depression, the federal government is looking at making huge cuts in military funding. A lot of these cuts are directed straight at military service members' pay and benefits. Let's explore some of the major cuts that the government is looking at going through with. First of all, the most important cut the government is looking at making has to do with tuition assistance. They're looking at cutting TA by at least 50%. Other debaters have even gone as far to say 90%. This issue would directly affect me because without TA, I wouldn't be able to afford college if it wasn't offered to me and completely paid for by the Air Force. This course cost me $750, and if TA was cut by 50%, it would cost me $375 each time I wanted to take a class. If they cut it by 90%, only $75 that it takes to take this course would be covered. Now that's a little bit ridiculous. I don't know about you guys, but I personally joined the military so that my education would be completely paid for, and I know if they cut TA at all, I would get out after 6 years, and I know a lot of other service members feel the same way as I do. The second benefit that they are looking at cutting is the 20-year retirement plan. As it stands, when a service member retires after 20 years, they are allotted 50% of their final salary on a monthly basis. For example, let's just pretend an active duty member makes $10,000. Upon retiring, they are given a check for $5,000 monthly. The government has proposed that we cut that 50% to only 40%, which in the end would joust these retirees by $1,000 monthly. Another proposal that was made was the military members buy into a 401k retirement plan that takes out approximately 17% of the members' annual pay. This plan is very similar to what the civilian counterparts pay into, and this proposal is also a little bit ridiculous and bogus because it in the end is going to be worth less money than the 50% allotment. And then lastly, I would like to bring up that the government has suggested that the military cut pay raises or ultimately even freeze them. And they want to squeeze special pay as well. Obama himself has already frozen federal civilian pay for the years 2011 and 2012. And he is looking to quite possibly do the same to the military pay raises. The government is also looking to reduce the amount of special pay that soldiers get, such as hazard pay, flyer pay, and special forces pay. Who wants to get deployed and put themselves in harm's way and expect to get paid the same as if they were stateside? That's a little bit ridiculous. And special force troops that jump out of planes on a daily basis, drive cars through obstacle courses at high speeds, and go on mock missions through the forest where they could get injured, they would be getting paid the same as, say, a staff sergeant who just sits behind a desk all day. And now that in my eyes is a little bit absurd. And guys, today I've discussed some of the cuts that the U.S. government has insisted on quite possibly going through with. I hope I expressed my opinion as an active duty member and where I stand on these cuts. The U.S. is in debt, but we can't take away from the people who fight for our freedoms when we are already given so little as is. I imagine that many people see these proposals as unjust, and I hope they will stand alongside me when these are attempted to be passed. Thanks, guys.